So now, based on that, let me show you Blackboard organization, just to give you an idea. Does your Blackboard look like that? Similar? Okay. So now notice what is week 1 on your syllabus. Course introduction, yes? Notice how my weeks match exactly. There's no way the students are going to say, I can't find the materials. So I organize my Blackboard weekly. So inside of this folder is everything they need for week 1. Week 1 is done. They're going to go for week 2. They match exactly the same thing. So here's where you have course content. So I label my weeks carefully, and I know it's extra time at the beginning, but next spring I'm going to teach it again. All I need to do is copy Blackboard and update things. So inside of this, I have the readings listed in order. I have the videos embedded there. You have to make sure that what is in here matches your course. I don't have any students coming to me and saying, I don't find things in Blackboard. Because I take my time to make sure that I don't have 500 emails from students. Imagine this, Dr. Lima, where is the reading? Who has time for that? So I take my time organizing Blackboard so that I don't have a bunch of emails asking me questions. So this would be an example of a flipped class where they read or watch. Now notice in this column how it says analysis, in-class practice, right? So they read in advance, watch in advance, and then in class we do the practice activity. You have a question? Yes.
As flipping classroom, many class students must search for themselves about the articles, the materials, as long as you mention the name, the titles, and everything's here.
So you see, the problem about students choosing is that they don't know. The students might not be aware enough of what good sources are. So I select my own materials because someone may be watching something and someone may be watching something else, and this something else is not even a credible source. So you see what I mean? You can't let them choose because they might come up with something that is not even true. Like they might find a video saying that Buenos Aires is the capital of Brazil, and they're going to believe it.
Yeah, I don't mean that. I mean, you mentioned here the title for the... Actually, you mentioned here the title of the articles that must be referred to.
Yes.
So the students must go back and search about that article as long as the title here is mentioned, it's mentioned in the syllabus.
Right.
So
I have the readings in there for them. I provide the readings for them.
So how can I improve the search ability for the students as long as we upload everything to the students?
So you want to make sure that the materials you give in them are reliable and appropriate. So the instructional materials, you can provide them. But you can have activities where students look for things. But then you have to give them feedback. Because if I say, look at materials about diffusion, they might find things that are not really correct. So I can't do that. I have to provide them with sources that are reliable. But you could have activities in groups. All right, guys, for example, you had to watch this video. This week, I would like for you to find another video and assess it. Watch the video and give me a summary of the content or what you think about it. But I would say it's very risky to have them find the materials by themselves. Because when people learn something wrong, it's hard to make it right again. So we take our time to give them the materials. So they cannot say, Dr. Lima taught me something wrong. So you see what I mean? But I do a lot of activities with my students that in groups they have to come up with presentations. They have to come up with videos, they create their own things, and then they upload it. But then, of course, I give feedback. I say, this video is not very good.
Okay, another question.
Yes.
Is this a full syllabus for the students? Is this a full syllabus, isn't it?
The full syllabus is about 8 pages.
8 pages.
Yeah.
Because I never seen about the assessment plan for students. So
Oh, yeah.
how can you assess?
It should be there. It's because I didn't want to print 8 pages. So what I gave you is course description objectives, but I would be happy to share the whole thing with you if you email me. So all of the assignments are clearly described, step by step, what is expected from them. I just wanted to show you the key elements, because it would be a lot of pages. Our syllabi are very long because you don't want students to tell you, listen, you didn't tell me this. And it used to happen a lot in the United States, that students were challenging teachers. It's like, I don't see the quiz in here. And then teachers decided to write everything. For example, my syllabus states that telephones should be on silent and students should not be texting during my class. Common sense, but it has to be there. So I'll be happy if you email me. I'll share the whole thing with you so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so you were talking about the videos. How do you choose stuff? So I'm going to have an activity for you now. It's time for you to talk, for me to be quiet for a little bit. Number 2. Where's number 2? This one.
Yes, number 2. Number
Yeah.
2.
Mhm.
Number 3.
Okay, that is the last one. Yeah. So in your groups, I'm going to give you a sheet, each one of you. But I would like for you to answer these questions, talk about, now you are going to think of one of your classes. So Introduction to Chemical Engineering. Think about that class as you do the activity, okay? Why is the light off over there? Can we? Then they are going to sleep. I know, you're ready to take a nap, yeah? Okay. So this is the handout. So this is the workshop part. Now I want you to think about this, reflect. How could you flip this class of yours? And then please talk in your groups. Yes, sorry.
There's one minor issue.
Can you please pass this around? Yes.
Teachers normally don't get to design the syllabus.
Teachers design their own syllabus?
No,
Oh,
that's the issue.
okay. So it's standardized?
Yeah,
Okay. And so you don't have permission to?
not for any major change. I mean, you can, but some minor, like the way we teach.
Okay.
You're not supposed to shift the whole thing.
Not the whole thing. So how is the course structured? So you do the readings in class?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is complicated. You need
We are
to...
given the whole thing prior to the course, and we are told, I mean, that you have to follow the thing for the syllabus. And the guys who I think design the syllabus are probably watching this all. So this is a kind of
This is something you should check with your superiors, because if you can't change the syllabus, you can't implement the method, right? Because if you have this and then the students have something else in Blackboard, so can you talk to someone in charge and see if they are going to give you permission? Because the content can still be the same.
we can send our recommendations to the course coordinators or, let's say, seniors, but it's up to them whether they accept them or not. And I mean, the thing is that we have courses that different teachers are teaching the same course.
Mhm.
Because of that reason, we have
Standardized,
things.
yeah.
So if I'm doing something different in my class, my students might get an exam paper from some other design as a teacher, and they will receive not get
Yeah, so you cannot do one thing and everybody else do something else.
Have a uniform kind of.
So you need to, they proposed this workshop. I mean, I sent them different titles and they chose this one. So I'm assuming people are willing to make changes, right? Otherwise I wouldn't be here. So, but you need to sit down with them and talk about possibilities. And maybe not change the whole thing. Maybe like key weeks.
We could do it on our own to some extent, things that we have discussed. But when it comes to changing the syllabus, it requires a lot of steps.
So yeah, you need to talk to your supervisor, yeah, and see how much you can.
That's working.
'Cause that I cannot help you with, right? Yeah, I understand that, especially if you have a bunch of sections of the same course. But maybe, you know, talk to them and start with a couple of weeks here and there and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we're introductory, but it needs to be expanded.
Yeah, you don't want to change the whole thing. Yeah, talk to the person and see the possibilities. I'm giving the ideas, it's just that you don't need to take them even, right? I'm suggesting things, yes. So just talk about these. I mean, you don't have to come up with full answers either, but just conceptualize your courses and how these things would look. Can we do that in finance? The money people? Yeah. You count his money, he makes the money. Yeah. How are you doing? You don't need to do full answers, just ideas, yes? We're not flipping your classes yet. Do you have questions?
Yes, we are discussing now.
Yeah, okay. Now I just want to make sure you didn't have questions. Just ideas. You don't need to discuss in detail. So how many sections, I'm sorry to interrupt, just a second. How many sections of the same course?
For each course, normally we have more than, like for example, I'm teaching language and composition for the courses. So he was last time teaching the same course. And 5 or 4 sections we had for the same course, and 5 different teachers were teaching the same course. But the syllabus was one, and the exam and assessment was unified. So we were like the midterms and the finals were designed collaboratively by all of us.
Okay.
So everybody would send one questions for the finals and the quizzes we could do. We had some issues with the syllabus, and when I came to know this thing just recently that we are not supposed to make any changes because it was too lengthy. The students were unable to cope up with the course material, and I suggested that we should just make it a bit precise.
Yeah.
So now we were discussing the same thing.
So like the policies and the rules, can they be still the same? But the changes would be just how the materials are arranged. Because you don't want to change policies. But if we're talking about changing just this, could that be?
And the outcomes.
Because if you have
So you would have to
get a
describe the
chance
objectives
to-
and everything.
Teaching in the Western countries is different.
Yes, of course.
The Middle East. The Middle East is more like didactic. We have, for example, we study a book, and all a textbook has all the chapters, and all the chapters are
Already.
picked, random picked, specified chapters that are in the syllabus. They are distributed based on, for example, 14 weeks.
Right?
And if
if we both of us teach one course, we need to stick to each week and cover it up.
The same, right?
The same, because otherwise, if it's not covered in the assessment, for example, we cannot,
Have a unified exam.
have a unified exam.
Right,
Most of
right.
the courses that we teach in the English Language Center are unified with the females also. So it's like we are not only restricted to a syllabus, but to other colleagues.
Right. One single question. Do you think your course could be flipped? Now, considering if you have permission to change it. So yes. Did anybody come to the conclusion that no, it's not a good idea?
Maybe part of it.
Not all of it.
By topics.
By topics. So it's doable in finance and computer science and all that.
But you know, the issue regarding class living, not about taking a decision regarding this. Also like the suitable of the class, the ability of the student.
Yes.
So you have to consider all of those things
Yes.
as factors that you have to take a decision based on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know with our things going on in our university, it's easy to do it or not.
Well, it seems you have the support of the university. Because they didn't fly me here, So I guess you need to talk to your units and see. And my suggestion is flip a couple of weeks first, see how it goes. You don't want to flip your entire course, create all of these materials, and then the students go like, I hate this. And then you will have, lost your work. So do a little bit, but it's challenging to keep them motivated. That's why I bring in all of these tools and everything. Do a couple of weeks, with my blended class, I see them once a week. 1 week I see them, the other week I don't. So you see, half of the semester is face-to-face, the other half is online. So they like it. But I asked them, if this class was fully online, would you like it? They said no. The most important part about this class is having you give us feedback. So I'm not losing my job anytime soon, as long as the universities require theses and dissertations. Because they're like, the feedback about my writing, I cannot get online. You see what I mean? So switch, maybe I would say start with the less important topics. Because certain topics, the students are used to you lecturing. So maybe topics that are not as complex, and see how it goes. They might like it, you may like it. Okay, ladies, we good? So, flippable, all your courses? Okay. So, that is the idea. With these questions, I just wanted you to start thinking and reach this conclusion. This would work or this would not work. And then from there, obviously, you have a lot of work. Checking with your units if you could change your standardized syllabus and stuff. And so for the last activity, I have one video that the Khan Academy uses to talk about circulation in the heart. Very easy. I don't want to give you an entire course, so I selected a video. And we were talking about, do I give students this stuff? When I was checking the videos for you, I watched the whole thing, and I had to consider it's accurate, it's reliable, the source is acceptable, vocabulary is good. You have to make sure there are no inadequate things. So, took me some time, yes, to watch the video, and I looked at a lot of videos to find something. But once you have the video, you can use it with every class, right? So this activity is going to be easy for you. To close I apologize again for the beginning with the technology issues. I'm going to play a video, and I would like for you to, as you're watching this video, consider yourselves students. I am taking a class about circulation and I have to watch this video. Do I like it? What makes it a good video and what are the weaknesses? Because if you guys decide to flip your classes, you will have to be the ones selecting the materials. So what makes a good video? Would you be patient enough to watch a video for 1 hour on the heart circulation thing? No. Do you need images or text? So I'll play the video and you tell me what is a characteristic a video should have. All right? So,
Just a quick question.
yes.
There is a right or a wrong in this question, like theoretical or practical?
No, it depends on your course. So it's more important for you to highlight content in class and have them do practice outside? You can do that. That's a good question, and people think that you have to flip the knowledge-based and then do the activities in class. Depending on the course, you have to do the learning in class and the activity outside. So it depends on what are the objectives of your class.
Because we're thinking that if they don't have the theoretical, they cannot do the practical. So if we flip it, it's not going to be accurate.
You can do that. You have to think about it. What is it that I want to do with this class? What are the objectives? It all has to do with the student's needs, right? Are we ready? As you're watching, take notes. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, that is pretty good. And then at the end, you guys are going to come up with one list together. Okay? Let's hope Ahmed plays. There's a... Okay.
What you're looking at is one of the most amazing organs in your body. This is the human heart, and it's shown with all the vessels on it, and you can see the vessels coming into it and out of it. But the heart at its core is a pump, and this pump is why we call it the hardest working organ in our body, because it starts pumping blood to the point where you're a little fetus, maybe about 8 weeks old, all the way until the point where you die. And so this organ, I think it would be really cool to look at in a little bit more detail, but it's hard to do that looking just at the outside. So what I did is I actually drew what it might look like on the inside. So we have to just show you that now. And we'll follow the path of blood through the heart using this diagram. Let me start with a little picture in the corner. So let's say we have a person here, and this is their face, this is their neck, and we draw their arms. And they have, in the middle of their chest, their heart. And so the whole goal is to make sure that blood from all parts of the body, including their legs, can make its way back to the heart, first of all, and then get pumped back out to the body. So blood is going to come up from this arm, let's say, dump into there, and the same on this side. And it's going to come from their head. And all three sources, the two arms and the head, are going to come together into one big vein. And that's going to be dumping into the top of the heart. And then separately, you've got veins from the legs, meeting up with veins from the belly, coming into another opening into the heart. So that's how the blood gets back to the heart. And anytime I mention the word vein, I just want you to make sure you think of blood going towards the heart. Towards the heart. Now, if blood is going towards the heart, then after the blood is pumped by the heart, it's going to have to go out to the heart, right? It's going to have to go away from the heart. So that's the aorta. The aorta actually has a little arch like that. We call it the aortic arch. And it sends off one vessel to the arm, one vessel up this way, a vessel over this way, and then this arch kind of goes down, 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 and splits. Like that. So this is kind of a simplified version of it. But you can see how there are definitely some parallels between how the veins and the arteries are set up. And arteries, so anytime I mention the word artery, I want you to think of blood going away from the heart. And the easy way to remember that is that they both start with the letter A. So Going to our big diagram now, we can see that blood coming in this way and blood coming in this way is ending up at the same spot. It's going to end up at the, actually maybe I'll draw it here, is ending up at the right atrium. Right atrium. That's just the name of the chamber that the blood ends up in. And it came into the right atrium from a giant vessel up top called the superior vena cava. And this is a vein, of course, because it's bringing blood towards the heart. And down here, the inferior vena cava. Inferior vena cava. So these are the two directions that blood is going to be flowing. And once blood is in the right atrium, it's going to head down into the right ventricle. So this is the right ventricle, down here. This is the second chamber of the heart. And it gets there by passing through a valve. And this valve and all valves in the heart are basically there to keep blood moving in the right direction. So it doesn't go in the backwards direction. So this valve is called a tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. And it's called that because it's basically got three little flaps. That's why they call it tri. And I know you can only see two in my drawing, and that's just because my drawing is not perfect. And it's hard to show kind of a flap coming out at you, but you can imagine. So blood goes into the right ventricle, and where does it go next? Well, after that, it's going to go this way. It's going to go into this vessel, and it's going to split. But before it goes there, it has to pass through another valve. So this is the valve right here called the pulmonary valve. Pulmonary valve. And it gives you a clue as to where things are going to go next, right? Because the word pulmonary means lungs. And so if this is my lung on this side, this is my left lung, and this is my right lung on this side, then these vessels, and I'll let you try to guess what they would be called. These vessels, this would be my, make sure I get my right and left straight. This is my left pulmonary artery. And I hesitated there just to make sure you got that because it's taking blood away from the heart. And this is my right pulmonary artery. So this is my right and left pulmonary artery. And so blood goes down into my lungs, right? These are the lungs that are kind of nestled into my thorax where my heart is sitting. Goes into my lungs. And remember, this blood is blue. Why is it blue? Well, it's blue because it doesn't have very much oxygen. And so one thing that I need to pick up is oxygen. And so that's one thing that the lungs are going to help me pick up, and I'm going to write O2 for oxygen. And it's also blue, and that reminds us that it's full of carbon dioxide. It's full of waste because it's coming from the body, right? The body's made a lot of carbon dioxide that it's trying to get rid of. So in the lungs, you get rid of your carbon dioxide and you pick up oxygen. So that's why I switch at this point from a blue-colored vessel to a red-colored vessel. So now blood comes back in this way, right?
Easy topic for everybody, right? Okay, so based on this video, what are characteristics that video should have to be effective? The physiologist, does this sound accurate to you? Perfect. So it's reliable, yes? Okay. So what is it that you missed when you watched this video? Did you miss anything? Yes. More animation. Teacher's face, maybe? Or more? Okay. What else did you miss? Huh? Okay. So consider these things that you missed. What are good characteristics of a good video? You just need to write a list now. Yes.
It has to be visualized like this.
Yes. It's very nice. The visuals are nice.
Yeah. And also like in short. Then
It's 7 minutes and 50. It's acceptable.
also like precise of the information. Precise.
Precise. Straight to the point.
Yeah. Explanation with the simplicity.
Okay. So now talk to each other and figure out if you have something different. Yeah. Yes. Together you have to come up with a good list. What did you miss?
I think there's no movement in this. He's like explaining on a board.
Right.
Yeah.
A little, 7 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The video also is too long, it didn't focus on the major information.
Okay. So you think 7 minutes and 50 is too long?
Yeah.
Okay. So considering that, what should the video have?
Should the video have?
So you said too long. So a video should be,
Concentrate and short.
and it needs more data, more information. I like seeing the teacher. You know, when the teacher, he's talking there, and he's good at drawing, but I would like to see his face.
Also need summary and brief information at the end.
Okay.
Every 2 steps or 3 steps, summary.
So
To return me to graph.
there you go. So what are the characteristics that your videos will have for your flipped classroom? So all you need to do now is together come up with the 6 or 7 components that should be there. Thank you guys very much. Yeah, you can give them to me or recycle them.
Because you might need them later on.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes, thank you. It was a pleasure working with you. Enjoy the rest of your day.